Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. Once again, a very warm welcome. Thank you very much for making time in your busy day to attend today's launch event of the third call of the matching grant facility for the cashew, cocoa, maize, and livestock value chains, implemented by the Business Support Facility for Resilient Agricultural Value Chains. I'm very happy to be today in the presence of our esteemed guests, Yvonne Chileche. I already see my colleague Magnus Schmidt in the call, and I see Rita Weidinger also arriving. We're also very happy to be in the presence of Sophie Primo from European Union INPA. Please allow us to just give everyone administrator rights so that we can do the presentation properly. Thank you very much. All right, attendees, we had the opportunity to already launch for the first time in French language this morning. So I'm very happy to welcome you today for the English launch of this call. What is happening today? I think we can have a brief look at the agenda. Emmanuel, if you may click forward once. We want to familiarize everyone about what the matching grant facility is, who is funding it, and who is implementing it. We also want to really take the most advantage of the opportunity to engage with the over 100 people I already see in the call and counting. So maybe before we go into the official side of business, I would like you to familiarize yourselves with the chat function that we're using. As of right now, you're not able to put on your camera and speak, but you will do so later on when we get to the last point of our agenda, the Q&A. But what I want everyone to do, I would kindly ask you to briefly put your name and the organization or company you're representing into the chat. And we would be most curious to know which country are you active in. Please focus on the one that you're mostly active in. We appreciate everyone that works across borders. Please put your main country of activity into the chat for us to see so we can better engage with you. The Business Support Facility for Resilient Agricultural Value Chains is an initiative funded by the European Union, the Directorate General of International Partnerships, jointly with the Organization of African, Caribbean, and Pacific States, OACPS, who are both present here in the call, with co-funding from the German Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development, the BMZ. GIZ, the German Development Corporation Company, is responsible for the implementation of this part of this program. All right, as I said before, we will run through 1 hour of time today. First of all, I would invite my dear colleagues for their opening remarks so that we can then go into a presentation of the frame and objective of the project, looking a little bit at the outputs and intervention areas. We want to focus obviously today on the matching grant fund for climate resilient value chains. We want to officially launch in due form this process. And then we do need to hear back from you. So we are very open for I would say almost the second half of the call or 1/3 of the call for any questions and answers we can start to answer. Throughout the whole meeting, you will see in the chat reference to quite a number of things. We will post some links for you to look at on the websites, which are launched officially today. We will post certain documents and we will try to engage with you as much as possible. So if possible, we always try to look left and right at what's happening on the screen and do take the opportunity to engage in written form. We will get back to you. Without much further ado, may I ask you to help me welcome Ms. Rita Weidinger, Head of the program MOVE, Market-Oriented Value Chains for Job and Growth in the ECOWAS region, for her welcoming words. Rita, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Bastian. I'm intrigued to be here this afternoon or evening, morning. I don't know which is your time zone. And also see my colleagues from OACPS. So let me be very formal today because this is a very distinct moment. So, dear distinguished guests from the European Union's Directorate General for International Partnerships, and my dear Yvonne Chileshe from the Organization of African, Caribbean and Pacific States, all the representatives, CEOs and deciders from the private and public actors of the agricultural value chains. As I address you this moment on the launch of the third and the final call for concept notes for the matching grant fund, we address today specifically the cashew, cocoa, maize, cattle, sheep and goat value chains. You might be active in one of these. The matching grant fund is designed to support innovative and more inclusive, sustainable and profitable projects in these value chains. And we invite particularly ideas how we can be more inclusive and more targeting women and youth. We encourage all eligible entities to take full advantage of this opportunity. It is implemented under the Joint Action Business Support Facility for Resilient Agricultural Value Chains. By the programs Market-Oriented Value Chains for Jobs and Growth in the ECOWAS region, abbreviated MOVE, and the Agri-Business Facility for Africa, ABF. I specifically wish to acknowledge our donors and our contributors on so many strategic elements for these programs and the grants. We are very grateful to the European Union under the Samoa Agreement, the Organization of Africa, Caribbean and Pacific States, OACPS, and surely the German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development, BMC, which is our commissioning partner. As agriculture remains a cornerstone of our economies, this grant provides opportunity for livelihood for millions of people. We want to leverage resources, foster partnership, and implement projects that can make a real difference. I would like to encourage our partners, also from the Pacific and Caribbean regions, to submit their concept notes as we consider also to spread the funding to more countries, so therefore a specific invitation. To conclude, I urge all applicants to carefully review the guidelines and submit proposals that are innovative, feasible, and aligned with the objectives of the matching grant, so that your time can be well valued and we come to conclusive projects. Thank you, and I look forward to also seeing the project proposals and at the later stage, then the implementation. Have a very good deliberation now. Back to you, Bastian.
Thank you very much, Rita, for your opening remarks. And thank you so much for setting the scene for today's webinar and the launch of the Matching Grant Facility. May I now ask for the welcome words from our key stakeholders. I would first go with European Union Director General of International Partnerships. I see both Pierre Berthelot and Sophie Primo in the call. You will know who will give the welcoming words better than I do.
Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Bastian.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me well? Because I'm not in a very good place this
We can hear you loud and
Thank
clear.
you.
Please go on, Sophie.
Okay. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for it's a pleasure really to be here. It's also a pleasure, Rita, to see you. It was a long time that I didn't see you. So thank you for your very clear introduction words and for setting the scene. As you say, we are here for the opening of the matching grant fund for that concern 4 value chain. And here I want to start my address by a big thank you to the team of GIZ. I was in the call this morning, I've seen Magnus and today Rita. I know it's not always easy to work with two programs, but I think you have done a very good job learning from the lessons, because this is the third call of the series. We already have had two previous calls, and you have very well integrated the lessons learned of the previous calls in this new one. So big congratulations to this considerable work. And really, I want to say just a few words on the importance of this fund for the European Commission. Because in our view, this instrument is extremely interesting, as it allows to engage in partnerships with private sector operators, actors all along the value chain in a common objective of social, environmental, and economic impact. I want just to underline the double objective of this fund, make sure that we have all this clear. The first one, this fund was designed as a means to reach out to the missing middle, which for us are the private sector operators that have ambitions to grow, to develop, but don't have the track record or the experience to access the funds that are available in the financing landscape. So this fund is really, we see this fund as this matching grant fund as a sort of a catalyst for these actors to reach the first step, and then to be more easily integrated in the world of access to finance. We have seen in the past two rounds also, I think it's very important for you to be aware of this, that with the OACPS, there are a numerous amount of other funds that are available for financing of agricultural value chains, and we have seen a very good collaboration between the team of GIZ and these other funds. So we see potential linkages and really a catalyst for candidates to this fund to come under the radar of the bigger funds in the future. So this is really a key point of this fund, targeting the missing middle. And so I encourage also you to make use of the expertise of GIZ along the project that will be funded in the Matching Grant Fund to reinforce your capacity and take out the most of it to be able to access new funds afterwards. And then the second point I want to underline in these welcoming words is the great opportunity with this Matching Grant Fund to support the development of innovation all along the agricultural value chains that we are considering here. So I will leave it here, give the word back to Bastien and I think to Yvonne. And I think it's very important. There is this, in the second part of this meeting today, there's opportunity to ask questions. So I would say ask as many questions as possible. There is also a good program of webinars, and that is called the Readiness Program. Again, a lot of possibilities to ask for clarification. Make use of it, and we will follow the whole process of application and selection. And I look forward also to reading the summaries of the project proposals and of the evaluation. Thank you again, and back to you, Bastien.
Thank you very much, Sophie Primo, for those welcoming words. A special thank you for mentioning two very important aspects of the Matching Grant Fund, which is the neat integration of it into the whole access to finance landscape out there, and also supported by our common donors, European Union, the German Ministry of Economic Cooperation and Development, OACPS. So please, we will get into a bit more details about this and about the innovative character of the projects that we wish to see and that we really like to encourage you participants to submit. May I now hand over to Ms. Yvonne Chileche, who is an expert on value chains in the Secretariat of the Organization of the African, Caribbean, and Pacific States in the Structural Economic Transformation and Trade Department. Yvonne, the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Bastian, and good afternoon, good morning, distinguished participants. Really happy to be here that we are launching the third core under our program. So let me first start by thanking Rita, recognizing Rita, who we haven't seen in a while. So really happy to have you at this third core. I also want to take this opportunity to congratulate GIZ. It hasn't been easy. The road that we have walked, where we have basically been working together to prepare the documents, but you have actually put it off, by preparing and having this call today. So congratulations to you. I also want to take this opportunity to thank our partners, the EU, for providing the resources that are actually enabling us to actually implement the activities that are forthcoming under the MGF. The Matching Grant Fund for us, which is under the Business Support Facility, is an important tool, as we see this as a tool that contributes or helps us to contribute to the goal of promoting value addition in the agriculture sector. And I must mention here that when you look at the OACPS countries, most of them are dependent on the agriculture sector. So this is one of the tools that we are using to empower actors along the value chains. And here the focus has been mentioned is we would like to promote and empower women, youth, but of course, also the missing middle, which is very, very important segment of most of our work. And here we look at SMEs and also farmers. I also wanted to share with you that the Matching Grant Fund is actually part of a broader program, which we call the Framework Program on Agriculture Value Chains, which has three components. The first component is on capacity building, where the intervention, the activities that we're discussing today, the MGF actually falls under. Then we have a segment that looks at finance. And then we have a segment that also looks at issues of trade, facilitating market access into the EU market. With this program, what we'd like to do is we want to build the capacity of our constituency, and here the private sector, basically to facilitate their access to finance and also to enable them to trade and attract investment. So it is a very, very important tool for us. And that is why there's also this emphasis on innovation. Under the broad program that I mentioned, the Framework Program on Agriculture Value Chains, we're basically looking at 11 value chains. The value chains that we will be discussing today fall under the portfolio of GIZ, these being cashew, livestock, maize, and cocoa. We have a parallel intervention which will be implemented by the International Trade Center that will be looking at sugar, rum, coffee, cotton, coconut, kava, and cassava. These are priority value chains which were identified by the OACPS members as being critical when you talk about sustainable development of the member states. So for the Matching Grant Fund, we are really expecting that it is going to facilitate access to finance as it is building capacity. But another area that we want it to deliver on is supporting our members through the different private sector entities to comply with new EU legislation. And here we are looking at legislation on deforestation. I'm sure some of you have been following the discussions on the EU deforestation regulation. We also have the corporate sustainability due diligence. These are regulations which have been developed as a result of the EU Green Deal, which basically aim at protecting the environment. But where we sit as OACPS, we have decided that it's important for us to use the different interventions to prepare our member states so that they're able to comply with these regulations. And at the end of the day, what we don't want to see is a disruption in trade. So I'm very happy that the MGF actually is looking at this area. And from the first call, we actually had interventions in this area. The third element, which I think Sophie has already alluded to, is the issue of synergy building. Again, as OACPS and EU, we are designing and implementing a number of programs for private sector development. But the idea is that since resources are scarce, we try and see how we can build synergies between the different programs. So for instance, like I mentioned, the capacity that we build here, we would love that some of the beneficiaries are actually able to access finance from other financial instruments that we're implementing together. So just to conclude, I just want, like Sophie has mentioned, all this, the launch and the readiness program has been prepared for you, the stakeholders, because what we want to see as OACPS is to see as many as possible applications coming. And I think as was mentioned, it's important for you to get your clarification, to ask questions, because at the end of the day, what we want to see is to have a matching grant fund that has impact. It's very, very important for us to have that, especially when you talk about impact on the missing middle. We would really want to see an impact there. So we'd like to encourage everybody to actively participate, ask your questions, and we are here basically to serve you. With that, I'll end there. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Yvonne, for your plea to engage here. And I second what you said. We are here to serve you participants in really trying to access financing for your projects to create meaningful impact on the African continent and in the Caribbean and Pacific states, obviously. Thank you very much. After our welcome speeches and opening remarks, it is now my pleasure to hand over to my colleague Veronika Kling from the Agri-Business Facility for Africa, who's going to run us through the presentation about what the matching grant fund actually looks like and some more details on that. Veronika, the floor is all yours for 15 minutes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And thank you also for the distinguished speakers for opening this meeting and launching this third call, as was announced. So without further ado, we dive in a little bit with some more details about this call. So as you have heard, we are implementing the joint action under the overall EU OACPS framework program to support the African, Caribbean, and Pacific states in agricultural value chain development. So GIZ, as you have heard, implements the part 1 on capacity building named Business Support Facility for Resilient Agricultural Value Chains. And this is a combined effort of the EU Directorate General for International Partnerships and the Organization of African, Caribbean, and Pacific States and the German government through the Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development. So what we aim to achieve, so the joint action aims to contribute to economic and climate change resilience of the value chains, as you I'm also probably curious about is cashew, cocoa, maize, and livestock value chains, and more specifically cattle, goats, and sheep, and to improve food security, increase income, and employment in the 79 member states of the Organization African, Caribbean, and Pacific States, OACPS, under the Samoa Agreement. So just to give a little bit of a deeper dive in the joint action itself, we have 3 outputs. Output 1 is focusing on building capacities, building skills for agribusiness. We have here well experimented and established programs also in e-learning, but also in blended learning approaches that are accessible to all actors and member states in the value chains of the OACPS. And output 2 is what we are here for most particularly, is talking about the competitive matching grant fund, where we are looking for innovative concepts that promote a resilient agricultural value chains in the OACPS member states through 85 meaningful and cost-effective consortia projects involving private and public actors along the value chains. And last but not least, we would also harvest the knowledge and encourage South-South exchange and also policy dialogue in the above-mentioned value chains, and to improve knowledge sharing and learning for further scaling and institutionalizing the approaches of the business support facility. So here I would like to ask my colleagues to present you a short video that we prepared for you to give you a little bit more explanation on the Matching Grant Fund. So please, I hope.
You are working in the cashew, cocoa, maize, cattle, sheep, or goat value chain in the OACPS member states, and you have an innovative idea on climate resilience in your work, but you lack funding. Congratulations! You are a perfect candidate for our Matching Grant Fund. It leverages investment. You can receive 40% or up to 50% of the required funding for your project depending on the value chain. The remaining funding will be provided by yourself as a private sector partner. The maximum funding channeled through GIZ can go up to 100,000 euros. As a confirmed grantee, you receive technical assistance and support for capacity development. That means for the implementation of your face-to-face and online trainings. We, GIZ, provide guidance and advice on trainings in your specific context. We connect you with networks of certified master trainers. You can participate in expert talks, South-South exchanges, and we assist in establishing business linkages with your clients and partners. The Matching Grant Fund is part of the Joint Action Business Support Facility for Resilient Agricultural Value Chains. You just apply to the call for proposals with a concept note about your innovative project. In our readiness program, you'll find all the information you need. An independent and international jury will then assess your concept note, select the highest scoring concepts, and may ask you to hand in a full proposal. You are eligible if you work in the mentioned value chains in the OACPS member states, and if you are part of a consortium with a private and public actor. For example, a processing company, an agricultural producer organization, or a national or international retailer. It could also be a private sector foundation, a qualified NGO, or a training or research institution or extension agency. You are especially eligible if you have an innovative idea that will contribute to climate resilience, income increase, or strengthening women and youth. We are looking forward to seeing your ideas.
Thank you. So I think the video speaks for itself. It's very helpful. We will post it in the link also that you can rewatch it anytime you want. So a lot of elements were already explained in the video. I would like to just maybe show you some further details on the call that helps to reinforce the messages that we wanted to convey about this call. So this matching grant fund is accessible to all applicants coming from all the 79 OACPS member states, as was explained. However, please note that the proposals on the cocoa value chain from Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, and Cameroon will not be eligible, since this value chain in these countries is already being supported through the EU Sustainable Cocoa Initiative. So that was one directive that we followed in agreement with our donors. And in the interest of regional balance, during this call, we give special priority to projects that are originating from countries with no or few projects from our previous calls. So a list of countries and the number of projects is published on our respective websites. So about the matching grant fund process, in the following slide, we see step by step what we're doing. So today we have the pleasure to have this launch with distinguished guests and with a lot of interested persons in the call. So we started this readiness program, as you will see, and a number of webinars that are following this as part of the readiness program. So what we are looking for is concept notes to be submitted until the 18th of August, noon GMT. So that is our deadline. After this, we will do an assessment of the concept notes, and this will be done by the evaluation committee, who will then submit their assessment to the board, and the board will take a final decision. After the assessment of this concept note and the board decision, we invite the shortlisted applicants to work on the full proposals and develop these. Here we also offer a further capacity development through our readiness, in-depth readiness program. So this will take part, and this will be done in October. And by early December, we are looking for the full proposal evaluation, which will include both assessments of the full proposals, but also interviews with the potential candidates, and finally the board decision. So hopefully this will be done by early December 2024. And following this step, we will have a commercial, administrative, and legal and eligibility check. This is obligatory under the GIZ financing tools, and we will have a contracting process. This will be planned for December and January, concluding the eligibility checks, and February, March, a planned time for contracting. And last but not least is the most exciting part, of course, the implementation that shall start around April, May 2025. Please note that the proposed length of the project are 18 months at this time. So who can apply? We are, as already mentioned by our esteemed guest from Sophie Pimou from EU, INFA, and Ivan Chiles from OACPS. We are looking for private sector partners that are working possibly already in a multi-stakeholder partnership that consists a lead applicant, a private entity, and its consortium partners. So we are looking for building consortia along the value chain. And we are also looking for primarily national and local companies as lead entities, as it was described, also missing middle companies. If an international company applies, a local company needs to be part of the consortium. This is a must. Consortium partners are also expected to sign a letter of intent at the concept note stage. This is a formality that we need for your application. And this letter of intent will be then later on developed to a memorandum of understanding for the full proposal stage. So lead entities can be, as was presented in the video, processing companies, agricultural producer organizations, but also off-takers of primary products or byproducts. And consortium partners, as also mentioned already, they can be partners that private actors that the lead applicant has business linkages with, so such as along the value chain, but also agricultural, technical, and vocational education and training institutions, national extension organizations, so public and private organizations, public or private research organizations, and business development services. So consortium partners are contractual partners in a matching grant fund project. So they'll have an official understanding and intent to present a joint project. So this is how we see it with the lead applicant and consortium partners. And what is very important is that we are talking about matching fund. So we expect the consortiums, lead applicant, and partners to make a specific contribution to the project, whether it's in cash or in kind. You see in the following slide. also an example of the amounts that we would like to look for. So candidates can apply for funding between 40,000 euro up to 100,000 euro. So this has to be then matched with the same amount or with slightly more in the case of cashew, only exceptional projects with implementation in multiple countries. The amount requested via GIZ can be up to 200,000 euros, and of course up to 50% of the contract value. So this is only eligible for the exceptional case. You see also the links, I think we have posted in the chat, where you can find, thank you my dear colleagues to post those, you can find information also on our website with all the guidelines and all the documents that you need for your application. So please download these information and read through it, because this will really guide you and help you to submit a good application. As you see on this slide, we are also have prepared a number of webinars for you. You see on the left side a number of webinars happening this week. So already tomorrow we have a deeper dive on application process and consortia in English, the same time as today, and following by further webinars on different technical topics such as human capacity development, so training, contract formats and finances on Friday, and next week talking about gender and climate. Please also, I know there might be a number of applicants in this call who speak some English but may prefer other languages such as Spanish or Portuguese. We have prepared special webinars for you this Thursday, so you can find the links on our website also to these webinars, both for Spanish and for Portuguese. So with this also, I would like to highlight again the links to our website. Please follow, and you can find all the relevant information there. And with this, and already, if you see the next slide, I would like to just highlight, if you are stuck, if you need further support, please contact our team of colleagues for cocoa, maize, and livestock value chain, abffund@giz.de, or for cashew@giz.de, and they can help you with further providing you further information. And yes, with this, I'm happy to announce that we are officially opened the call for concept notes, and we are really happy and looking forward to your applications. So thank you. And with this, I would like to also final words to say thank you for all the team that worked very hard to really ensure that all this information is up to date on our website and in the best quality possible. So please, really, I encourage all of you to visit our website and to find all necessary document information there. And thank you, and back to you, Bastian.
Thank you very much, Veronica. And let me ask everyone for a warm round of applause for our three speakers in the beginning, for the opening remarks, and for your excellent presentation of the rundown of the Matching Grant Fund. Veronica, with a massive thank you to the entire MOVE and ABF team who worked very hard to make this happen today. Thank you very much. On a technical level, may I please ask my colleagues now to allow the cameras and the microphones of all participants, because we are moving over now to the question and answer part of our webinar. We have 20 minutes left. There's two possibilities to engage. The first one, and we will take great care to record your questions, is via the chat. Do not hesitate to write. If English language is maybe a little bit problematic, that's not an issue. We speak many other languages between our big team our membership. And also, you may open your camera, you may lift your hand, and I will call you for a very short question in fairness for all other participants, please. Thank you very much. The question and answer is officially open. I see a first question to break the ice from Masu Chambo, please. Thank you. Masoud, can you hear us? Okay, this doesn't seem to be the case yet, so I will put you on the list for slightly later. I'm going to give the word to Mr. John Sombo, please.
Yeah, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you for that detailed and elaborate presentation. So I wanted to find out if, I have two questions. One, we operate an NGO, and also we have the business wing of the NGO. And we're into cashew production, and then now we are trying to venture into cashew processing, like how to process the cashew nut into cashew kernel for export. So I don't know whether in this case, what I can apply using the NGO wing as the lead, and the business aspect comes as the consultant member, and then maybe any other a stakeholder we discover can then also join the application.
Thank you.
And then the last question is, I wanted to find out, is there a number of awards you'll be granting under this call, or is open to any number across board?
May you repeat the second question, please? That was not intelligible.
Is there a maximum number of awards you'll be granting under this call, or is open to any number?
Thank you. We're noting the questions. So the first question was whether the NGO or the business arm of the NGO, which I suppose would be a company, should be the lead entity. And the second one speaks to the number of funds that we are able to give out here, that we're able to award. I will take another question before I ask my MOVE and ABF colleagues to please answer the questions. The next person on the list would be Chief Adam, please, for a short question.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me, please?
Your microphone is not working so great. Is there an alternative?
Wow. Okay, so let me try again. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, please, Chief. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. My greetings to all the speakers, including Rita. Rita, thank you so much. You have always been involved in developing the cashew sector. I am a commercial farmer. I grow cashews and I also rear animals, as part of my business in commercial, quantities. So I want to find out in all these categories that you are providing funding for, is it possible for me to apply for all? Because I have cattle, I have goats, I have sheep, and I also have cashew. I want to know whether it is possible to apply for this. But one important thing I want to include is that I am working with smallholder farmers around my plantation, and I am already doing contract processing for the market. I want to see how this can be supported with this project. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your question, which speaks to, can one entity apply to multiple value chains? I will pause now and will ask my colleagues from MOVE and ABF, please, to come in and answer those three questions first.
Maybe to start with the easy one, I allow myself to respond to the question on whether one can apply for multiple value chains. Yes, it is very much possible. We had also those applications in the first round, where of course different value chains came together, and the part of the business of the private entity, private lead applicant. So yes, it's possible. Yes. So you can indicate in your concept note which value chains you are integrating and how. We might need to see where we would put focus on, because we have certain percentages allocated for the different value chains. I might wish to continue with other questions, Bastian. Otherwise,
Veronica, if you want to take the number of grants that we will probably roughly give out, that would be helpful.
Yes, so we've foreseen around 15 further grants to to give out for the cashew value chain around 20 something in the other value chains. So that is maize, cocoa, and livestock. However, these are only just rough numbers. It also depends on the grants that are requested in these successful projects. So as you have seen, we are looking for applications with the request between 40,000 and 100,000 euros. So depending on the exact amount requested in the successful project, this can be a little bit more or a little bit less than the numbers that I mentioned. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Veronica. May I call on Olivia to answer the question about, is an NGO able to be the lead entity, please? And you may also take another question from the chat if you stumble across one.
All right, thank you very much, Bastian. Good afternoon to you all. So for this call, like we have earlier mentioned, we are not taking NGOs as lead applicants here. So clearly a lead applicant should be a processor, also a producer and others, but not an NGO. There was also one question in the chat that was asking if projects from Ghana are going to be accepted for one like that. Or Ivory Coast, I think it's Ivory Coast. So for this call again, we have, can I go ahead?
By all means, thank you.
Very well, thank you. So for this call, we have clearly indicated in the guideline that we are going to give priority to countries that we didn't have any project, or should I say little or no project from the previous call, would more or less place some kind of priority. So guideline we have on the website, you would see the list of the countries we have received the first, and I can also inform your decision on the next steps. Thank you very much, and over to you, Bastian.
Thank you very much, Olivia. We will answer some more questions from the hands I see raised. I would go to Peace Avodiran, please, for a quick question.
Hi, hello everyone. Thank you for the presentation. So I'm here on behalf of an organization that is an off-taker of agricultural commodities. We aggregate from different smallholder farmers and we sell. So I'd like to know if we can apply as lead applicants. And I don't really understand the idea behind the consortium partners. Would we require consortium partners, and what's the point basically, and who can it be?
Thank you very much. I will take another question before we get into the question about the consortium partners, whether you require one and why are we pushing for this. May I ask Alberta to come in, please? Alberta, are you able to hear us? Please let us know when you're ready to speak. The same also goes for Masood. We weren't sure whether you can hear us now. In which case, I would go to Maxwell, please.
Good evening, good afternoon. I'm Maxwell from BioPris, Zimbabwe. We're into livestock. We're dealing with cattle, sheep, and goats. I would just be interested to find out, looking at our location, we're in Zimbabwe, BioPris. Any prospects, do you work with organizations in BioPris, Zimbabwe? Because we are interested in coming up with a project from that end. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I would ask my colleagues, please, to clarify again the geographical representation. I saw questions written in the chat about Uganda. We are hearing Zimbabwe now. I would need an answer for that, please. And then we would need to speak about the consortium, please. Who wants to start from Move and ABF to answer those, please?
If I may, so consortium partners as presented. So we have so we are looking for lead applicants that are private sector partners, as explained, and we know that in many cases there are already business linkages exist between the lead applicant and potential consortium partners. So you need to take a careful view of who could be those partners that that have an interest to come up with the joint project. And the importance is also to strengthen those linkages along the value chain, or bring a certain benefit for the project. So we listed a few examples who can be consortium partners. What is important is that all these partners also making a specific contribution to the projects. So whether it's in cash or in kind, lead applicants and consortium partners are important to come on board. If I may give also one example, if you're a processing entity and you work closely with a few agricultural producer organizations, it may be of added value to bring these partnership in a formal way and present a joint proposal into the matching grant fund, into the concept note, because also pre-existing business linkages between consortium partners should be also might be beneficial for your application. We see that there is a strong capacity and a capability to implement the programs that are presented. So this is why we always looking into consortium, and we are highly encourage you to do so, to enter these partnerships. So
thank you. And maybe for the geographical question, also quickly, Veronica.
Yes. So as mentioned also in the chat, that all OACPS member states are eligible to apply, and they're highly welcome to submit applications. So this call is open for everybody coming from all the 79 member states. However, there will be prioritization. So what we will do is that there will be a specific technical ranking of the applications based on the concept notes proposed, but we're also looking for a good regional balance, meaning that we will give priority also to very good projects that are presented, and technically very good projects that are originating from countries where we have no or few projects from the previous calls. And here for transparency, also we provide a list of countries and the projects on our respective websites, so you can see what is already out there. So I hope that gives you an answer. Very good proposals, technical proposals will be looked at, as well as the regional balance, and the final decision will be done by the board.
Thank you very much, Veronica. We will go back to the questions. In the chat, there's quite a few questions already answered. So I strongly recommend that you read a little bit through it. What is important for you to know is also that based on the questions that we're receiving and answering here, and that we also received and answered in the French language call earlier today, we are compiling a question and answer compendium to be put on the respective Agri-Business Facility and Move cashew websites. There you will find many answers to many of those questions. So if you feel like your question has not been answered in today's short call, please recall this is just the start of this whole process. First off, you can access many questions and all the documents, the PowerPoint presentation, the video on the two websites. You will also find there, yet again, obviously contact emails and phone numbers for us, so you will be able to reach us. And the webinar, the readiness webinars are also coming up starting tomorrow, as we said, for the application process and consortia. We will really get into much more detail what we need to see, what you need to comply with to be able to submit a strong concept note and to be considered for a full proposal down the line. Going back to the line of people that have their hands raised, Alberta, if it's working now.
Yes, please. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you a little bit. Yes, thank you. We will try.
Very well, please.
Of course.
So I have just a question. I want to know if the funding is based on merit with regards to the concepts that will be presented.
Thank you very much. So the question about evaluation criteria and them being based on merit. Thank you. We will note this. I will take a second question from Jeremiah Bavuk, please.
Yes, thank you for having me. My question is on the matching component. This is a matching grant. I would like to know from your office, what is the kind of contribution you expect from the potential grantee? Of course, I saw 40 to 50% of this 40 to 50% that is expected to be contributed by the beneficiary. What percentage of this 50% is cash? What percentage is in-kind contribution?
Thank you very much, Jeremiah. I will take a third question from Kwaku Anim Asiedo, please.
Okay, so good day. My name is Kwiku from Ghana. I just wanted to find out with the concentration on maize, is it about the production or aggregation, or what does it entail if I want to write a concept note on the maize? Should it be just focused on the production or aggregation, or whatever I do is what I'm supposed to write on the concept note?
Thank you very much. So the question goes to which sector of your, or which of your activities you should focus on for the application process. Is that correct?
Yes, with regards to maize.
With regards to maize. Yes, thank you very much. Okay, I will call on my colleagues to answer. May I ask Olivia to speak to the matching part of the matching grant? So the question about cash and kind percentages, to give a rough orientation, please. Okay, or if there's internet issues in Côte d'Ivoire, which sometimes happens, is there another one of my colleagues that may take that question, please? Thank you,
Sure,
Anja.
I can take it. So you are expected as a partner to contribute at least 50%. So the 40 to 50% is rather from the GIZ channel side. So at least 50% should be given by the partner. Regarding the percentage of in-kind versus cash contribution, there is no specific percentage. However, you have to be aware that each budget line will be shared between the both of us, meaning you have to be able to also provide some cash. So it's not only in kind that you can provide, but it will also be cash that you will need to put in. However, your staff time, etc., is also considered in this term, in the contract.
Thank you for the clarification, Anja. If you want to stay online and speaking, then you may also speak to the evaluation criteria. What is it based on in very short terms, please?
So the evaluation criteria is based on, first of all, the guidelines. So you will find everything in there if you read them carefully. And then again, it is based on the type of firm that you have, but also the concept that you hand in and the budget that you hand in. So please don't be afraid if you feel like the budget would not be perfect, because also the concept that you hand in, the ideas that you have, will count for most of the part of the evaluation criteria. So yes, and please read the guidelines that we put up, because they are super helpful in drafting the concept note.
Thank you very much, Anja. And let's get an answer for the last question that we had heard about the maize sector and which side of the production to focus on. Thanks, Veronica.
If I may, so as we presented earlier, we are not looking for one specific side of the production. We are not looking on one specific part of the value chain. However, we are looking for innovative projects that are really focusing on increasing the incomes along the value chain. So for all actors, increasing incomes, support climate change mitigation and or adaptation. So this is something that your project will be addressing, that is very much welcome. And if you are looking for gender transformative approaches and gender empowerment, this is also very much welcome. So these are also aspects that we look forward for in such a technical assessment. You will see, as mentioned by my colleague, all in the guideline. So I will highly encourage you not going beyond the technical part and also take part of the webinars that we are offering, because we will have specific webinars on all these topics coming up this week and next week. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Veronica and colleagues, for answering some of the questions. There's a lot of interest here. I can only encourage you again to go through the chat. We are all online also after the end of this call. So you are more than welcome to engage with us, and we will try to provide as many answers as we can. And this, I want to repeat yet again, this is the whole spirit of how we want to work together here in this public-private partnership matching grant fund. We want to jointly work on developing and helping with strong concepts. We will make them stronger together for more impact to really benefit the population of the Organization of the African, Caribbean, and Pacific States, member states here. I have to have a little look at the time. I know the discussion is really just starting, so I'm more than pleased to see the strong interest, and I'm very happy to promise you that the whole readiness webinar will answer many questions. The website will provide many answers. And I really strongly believe that you have heard our invitation to get in touch with us, to work together on your proposals. We are very curious to see what, after the 6-week-long period for concept notes, will come out, will be in our mail inboxes. We are more than happy to see what the evaluation committee will choose, and we are really looking forward then for the full proposals. I think for today, if I may, I want to yet again thank our honorables, our Head of Program, Ms. Rita Weidinger, Sophie Primo from the Director General International Partnerships, Magnus Schmidt, the Head of Program from the Agri-Business Facility, Yvonne Chilesche from the Organization of African, Caribbean, and Pacific States, for their presence, for their strong contribution, and for their trust in the implementation of this matching grant facility. I wish all participants here present in the call the best of luck. Don't hesitate to get in touch. Let me say it 3 times. This way you know it's really what we want to see. We wish you all the best. Look forward to work with you. And let me close with a warm thank you to each and everyone that took part in this webinar today. Thank you very much.